Good morning and welcome to another special episode of The Ladies Club. My name's Valen Kirtley and what a pleasure it is to bring you today's program. A program that we're going to be bringing you in the heart of 16 days of activism against the violence towards women and children, and how important it is to send this message after the gender-based violence that South Africa has been exposed to this year. We have come out of the studio, so please ignore the little wind that you're going to hear every now and again. But we've had to come out of studio because we've got a very, very special guest. She is Cris Cyborg. She is a lady that has blazed the trail when it comes to the sport of mixed martial arts. She has so many firsts, among them the first lady to hold 3, and who knows, after January she may even be the first lady to hold 4 different major belts from promotional companies in the featherweight division. So we are focusing in on combat sports. Cris, thank you for joining us here on The Ladies Club. What a pleasure it is to talk to you.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. A little bit I say about my job, and thank you for the opportunity.
It's incredible to think how much you've done. And before the Nunes fight, you went 13 years undefeated. That's incredible.
Yes, I feel very blessed. You know, I train really hard. I know it's when I start training MMA, don't have a lot of girls, more boys training. Very difficult because then when they training, one day you go home crying because you cannot do a lot of things. When you come back, you don't give up. And I think this is proof you can do if you have in your heart, you discipline, you can do whatever you want to do. And I think stay 13 years in the field is very difficult to be champion, but to stay champion is more difficult because everybody want to beat you, but you always have to improve and learn.
How difficult was it for you to be a pioneer for women in the sport? Because you've been there from the very beginning. Some men don't even have the record that you have. Who did you look up to?
You know, in the gym I come from, Brazil, have a lot of guys. You know, I look more guys because I have a lot of guys, big names, and then started Vale Tudo in Brazil, gym is shoot a box. And for me, I was never having my heart to be a fighter. When I was a kid, I was playing handball, and I do track and field running. And then when I was in university, I was playing handball, and then one guy saw me play handball. And at the end of the game, he came talk to me, Cris, I think you can be a great fighter. And he's giving me a card from the gym and told me, show up there and learn a little bit. But I look at him like, this guy crazy. I don't want to be a fighter. And I never, in school, I have a lot of girls with me. They're always troublemakers. And when they start making problems, I always disappear when I have problems. And I never would like to fight. But, I start training. I show up at the gym. And in 6 months, I told my coach, because I always compete. I like compete. Doesn't matter. I win or lose, I always compete the whole my life. And I told him, I would like to do one MMA fight, one fight to see how it happened. And then in 6 months, I did my first fight. I lost my first fight. I dislocated my elbow. But after this fight, I said, I born for this. I loved this, and I stopped doing everything else and just MMA. And my mom not happy because the beginning, there is people don't know too much about MMA. And don't know it's one career. You can make a career. It's your job. And the beginning, my mom don't like. She said, I don't put you in the best school for you do. I don't like if people punch you. But after a little bit while, she see it's a job. It's 2 girls ready to fight, but have rules. It's no freedom. Have rules. You have to follow. And she's now agree a little bit. And then I'm here, after I'm here 15 years almost.
She started a romance with South Africa. She's even got a South African trainer in Richard Kwan from Fight Fit Militia, which is where we actually are, a gym in Sunny Hill in Johannesburg. And he's one of the most prolific trainers when it comes to mixed martial arts. And he's now come on board to help train Cris Cyborg, who just recently actually signed with Bellator, and it's the biggest female mixed martial arts contract. There is so much to talk about, and we would love you to get involved in the conversation. It's so easy on social media. Just use our hashtag, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter, hashtag The Ladies Club. Before we go to a break, let's tell you about some Ladies that are making news. This lady was actually a guest here on the program. Amy Claire King, the World 8-Ball Pool Champion. She's asked for more support when it comes to the sport. She recently returned from the All-Africa Pool Championships in Morocco, where she was crowned Africa's female pool champion. Her achievements have, however, gone unrecognized, and she hopes that pool players in the country will start getting the recognition that they deserve. At the All-Africa Championships in Marrakesh, King walked away with the Africa Ladies Singles title, while the South African men's and women's pool team won the overall tournament. Do stay with the Ladies Club. We are back with the pioneer and the champion, Cris Cyborg, after this. The National Lotteries Commission is celebrating 20 years of impact in changing and uplifting communities around the country. The NLC is committed to supporting sports and recreation to build a winning nation. Funding 6.5 billion rand thus far to sports and recreation, National Lotteries Commission continues to be a catalyst for social upliftment. Welcome back. You're watching the Ladies Club. So good to have you in our company. We are out of studio for a very special guest. We're speaking to a former UFC featherweight champion, a lady that currently or has held 3 major titles in her weight category, Cris Cyborg. She's here in Johannesburg. It's her second trip here to the country, and she's now fighting out of the Fight Fit Militia Gym in Johannesburg. I want to know, I call it this romance with South Africa. How did it all actually begin? Because it was thanks to one of our prolific talents from South Africa, Don Madge, that it all began.
You know, I have a fight against Holly Holm, and then my fiance said, Cris, I know one perfect guy, Southpaw, can help you for this fight. He's had a lot of experience. Long time I don't talk to him, but let's try to talk to him. And then he contacted him, Don Madge, we invite him to go to America, and they help me in 2 last camps. And the last camp, he told me, Cris, now you need to come to my country. Come to South Africa, meet my team, see if you like. And after my fight, I had the opportunity to come. I stayed 3 weeks training with them, with Rich Guan and his team. And I went to Uganda too. I did my missionary work over there. But I love the people very similar Brazil, then very happy, have a lot of struggles, but they look at him, they always smile, and they say, you know, I like, and then I come the second time, training again for my last fight, and I love it, I feel home, and it's good when you get out the house too, and come to another place, because you can focus for your fight. Because in home, you know, you do everything, especially girls. You know, I have to clean the house, have to take care of my daughter, have to take care of my fiancé, take care of the animals, and you never just focus for a fight. And here I feel like I train, go home, I like to read, I read a book, I study what I learn, and I just get focused for the fight. And I love coming here and train.
How do you like training here at the Fight Fit Militia Gym with Richard Kwan?
You know, I'm living in America like 10 years, and I was training different places, and it's not have like a team. You know, in Brazil it's a team, and then when I came first time here, I went to an event together with them. They stay always together. After the fight, then pray together, then see what had to fix, you know. And I see beautiful, and I say, you know, I need this. I need support, because when you fight, you don't just fight by yourself. You fight by yourself, but you have a team behind you. And I have team before, but I have to train at different places. And here is easy because everything is one place. I have all the training here, mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, wrestling, into only one place. And then this is really make easy, and they help better for.
What is the quality like here in South Africa?
No, I have a lot of talent. I have people, a lot of kids young. I train with a lot of young. I think with the oldest, maybe me and another guy. And it's nice when you see, you see in the eyes then shiny. You know, because then they want a lot of things, a lot of dreams, and I can see when I see them, and I see when I'm start training. You know, they motivate me, and be here may change for me because motivate me, and they have the team. It's perfect.
You mentioned the rivalry between yourself and Ronda Rousey, and some people saying that it was Ronda that's, you know, the pioneer. I've called you the pioneer for mixed martial arts when it comes to women. How do you feel about that?
About the Ronda, because I fought before her. You know, she started after, very well after me. But because she's have the media behind her, UFC is like big machine behind her, and then people don't know too much about MMA. They start to know about MMA because then started stay behind them around, putting media and marketing, everything. But if you go, you share dog everywhere, they put in my fight. And when I fought and she's fought, I fought very before her, just because now when she started fight, MMA getting bigger a little bit more.
There's been a lot of things that you've had to overcome in your career. One of them being the fact that in UFC, there wasn't a weight category for you, and it took a long time and going through quite a lot for yourself personally to actually even get a fight in UFC. But the two things that I want to ask you about is about the doping, because I understand that those doping violations had to do with losing weight.
Yes, my struggle is always because now I have my division, and I always have to cut weight, and my struggle always lose weight, you know. And then the last time when it happened, I fought doping, my coach, my friend, he told me, Cris, use this for helping you lose weight. And it happened, you know, I fought doping, and I paid, like, I think 1 year, I stayed on fighting, and I learned the lesson. You know, I always say, everybody say, you did the mistake. You know, everybody do the mistake. I think you have to use a mistake for be example for another athletes for not do the same mistake. You know, always if somebody want to give you something to you, go to your doctor, ask you what if you can use, if not use, not just everything they give it to you, and you learn it. You learn the process. I'm 15 years fighting, and now I know how my body work, what I can eat, what I can eat. So I think you learn it, a lot of experience. But if you can tell about the experience for another people, you know, for another young kids, they're gonna learn, and then they're gonna do the same mistake. Will you be an example?
Cris Cyborg is in South Africa. She's training at the Fight Fit Militia Gym with Richard Kwan. She's getting ready for a 20th of January fight next year against Julia Budd. It is for the featherweight title for the Bellator belt. And if she wins it, then she'll be the first male or female ever to have won 4 different major mixed martial arts belts. So certainly something to look forward to. Do get involved in the conversation. Hashtag the Ladies Club. We'll be back after this. The National Lotteries Commission is celebrating 20 years of impact in changing and uplifting communities around the country. The NLC is committed to supporting sports and recreation to build a winning nation. Funding 6.5 billion rand thus far to sports and recreation, National Lotteries Commission continues to be a catalyst for social upliftment. Welcome back. You're watching Hashtag the Ladies Club for this very special edition in the heart of 16 days of activism. We are speaking to one of the toughest women that there is in the world, Cris Cyborg, and we're going to continue speaking to this mixed martial arts pioneer. How are you feeling?
I feel great. You know, the teams are great. We train really hard. And I'm going to stay here Christmas, Happy New Year in South Africa, and then train for my fight, focus for fight, and just go back in January. But I'm really happy. You know, I learned a lot and be ready for my next fight.
You mentioned that it's important to come away because you are away from all the responsibilities at home. Tell us a little bit about your family.
You know, usually when you stay home, always when you're back to training, we have supposed to rest, sleep, rest, because usually 3 times a day or 2 times a day. But when you come back, you have to clean something, do wash dishes, take care, see if my daughter, they make her homework. You don't stop, and then, okay, pass the time, you have to go train again. You don't think about what you're training, you don't focus, and when I came here the first time from my camp, I said, man, this is perfect. Work perfect because I just focus and then don't worry about if my daughter okay, my fiance okay, and I just like to do like this way.
How do you manage your training and being a professional athlete and doing all the things that you do with still giving time to your family and also considering that your fiance is your trainer?
Yes, no, my fiance, we train together, but we just train like a date because he's black belt jiu-jitsu. And like when they train jiu-jitsu, we do some to train together. But I like to be separate, you know. Like I think it's better when he's have his job, I have my job. We just come back home, we have news to talk about. It's really hard when you work together. And you know, but always I have to be mom, I have to be wife, you know, I have to be a fighter, and then have to separate everything, you know, I have to try, be focused, okay, now I have to train, I have to forget about everything happening in my house now, and just focus for training, and be focused.
You've got a daughter, and she's now a teenager. Your mom had some reservations when you as her daughter was getting involved in, you know, this combat sports, the most difficult and most hardcore combat sport that you can actually be involved in. How do you feel about getting into the ring?
You know, before when I adopted my niece from my mom, and she lived with my mom when she's scared, she never met her mom. And I brought her to live with me because my mom is like 65 years old, and she's now 13. And it's really difficult to work with teenagers. And then when I bring her to live with me in America, I start to teach her a little bit self-defense. I start teaching her running. She never run before. I start telling her run is like life. Sometimes it's going to be difficult, but you have to keep going. Run is low, but you have to keep going. You cannot stop. And for me, it's nice using my, and she see how's my struggle, what's happening with me, and how I handle the struggle. You know, no give up, keep going. Sometimes you're going to be sad, yes, you have to pray, see what God wants to be from you. And I try teaching her my lifestyle and never give up, always keep going. If something happening, you just for learning.
People say that the sport is too violent for women.
You know, I think it's not about violence. It's about two people gonna fight each other. They know the rules. Then prepare for that. It's not something. Of course, I'm not gonna in the street and fight one girl. She's never fought before. She don't know mixed martial arts. This is gonna be violent. Now, when you step in the cage with another girl, she's already know what's gonna happen. You know, she's training for. You know, she prepares. She's there for beat another girl. You know, I don't see like violent. People see a little bit, but I think it's a sport like another sport. If you watch football, American football, it's very dangerous too. You know, danger like you have more injuries. You know, have like a concussion, and then more than when you fight. I think it's the way you watch. But when you have two girls prepare for the fight, I don't think it's violent. They're not ready for that.
Mixed martial arts can also help you to give other ladies tips for self-defense, and that's something that I believe you do in your gym in Los Angeles.
Yes, we do a lot of seminars, and I have one camp only for ladies. It's named Pink Belt Fitness. I am doing this, I think, 6 years already. I met with the girls, sometimes at 30, 40 girls. We stay 2 days together. And I say pink belt because even don't know about anything. I prefer girls don't know anything about mixed martial arts.
I don't know anything, so can you show me some tips on how to look after myself and defend myself?
Yes, and it's gonna be perfect because when the girls meet each other, they make friends. Because now everybody's still on the phone. You don't make new friends now. Everybody's still on the phone, and when they have the pink belt, you meet some girls. Some girls have struggling, then divorce, then have problems. But you meet another girl, have the same experience, but already passed through, and she's okay. She's a big example for another girl. This is make the pink belt fits. They just be together, and they teach them about self-defense. I teach them about Muay Thai. I teach about food, about eat, about lose weight. And the 2 days are nice. And they have young girls, old ladies, and then together. This for me, it's one passion for me, teaching them and to tell about my life, how's the struggle, but I pass through, and be example for them. And then I always do this camping about fitness, and for me, it will be a welcome teach you some self-defense. It's very important for you know what to do when something happens with you and in the street, because it can happen, and just be prepared.
Her nickname actually came from her first husband.
Yes.
So why did you keep it then?
You know, in the beginning, my first fight, I don't have nickname. Okay. And then the second fight, I thought, let's put Cyborg. And because I started to date him, and then after we marry, and they stay Cyborg. It's funny because people see me in the street, and people think, in the beginning, people see me like Cyborg. Oh, she don't have a heart, she mean. And then people start talking to me, I say, no, you're really nice. And I say, of course. I was like, I did the same thing in the cage outside, you know, and the beginning, when we know together anymore, we're still friends, we have a good relationship, and I told him, no, if you don't want to use the name, I don't need to use the name. I was going to make one, ask for my fans vote, and get one nickname for me. But they said, no, Cris, you can keep the name, you know, people know who you are already, Cyborg, and they just keep the name, but yeah, now it's still Cris Cyborg.
Are you a completely different person when you're inside the ring?
Over there, it's fighting. It's you have to defend who you are. You know, it's really hard to prepare. And I work on it. I don't hate the person I'm gonna fight. It's really professional. You know, I train for beat my opponents, but it's nothing about hate. I don't hate. I think if you hate your opponents, you're gonna do mistake because they're gonna do something you don't think about. And no, it's a sport for me.
Finally, your motto in life. Do you have a motto in life or a saying that you live by?
You know, I'm Christian. I read the Bible a lot, and the one verse I like is Joshua. They say, doesn't matter where you're at, God is going to be with you. If you're going to be in the struggle, He's going to be with you. And I always read this before my fight. And it doesn't matter how your opponents are going to be, and they always put together like this. I'm fighting the cage, but people fighting life. You know, you fighting every day. And like I train to be ready for my fight. Any job you do, you have your struggle, and they have to be ready. You have to handle it. And then everybody a fighter. You know, I'm different. I'm fighting the cage, but you guys fighting life. And they always put their head to prepare. And when they read the Bible, giving me hope, giving me, you know, I'm learning. If I have some struggle, I have to learn from and why happened. And I think for me, I always use the Bible to guide me.
Cris, that's beautiful. And what a perfect message for our viewers, especially during this time of 16 days of activism, that each and every single one of us is a warrior. So warriors, I will see you on the Ladies Club, myself or Lebo, for next week's edition. You can keep the conversation going on social media, hashtag the Ladies Club. Thank you, Cris, so much for spending time with us and for sharing part of your story here on the Ladies Club.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thank you, guys. If you want to follow me, go on my Instagram, my Twitter, Cris Cyborg. And my pleasure to be here. Maybe next time I come to South Africa, we can do one pink belt fitness, and they're going to be welcome to come.
Oh, that would be lovely. Yes, yeah, South Africa. Tell Cris that you want her to come and that you want a proper 2-day pink belt seminar, because that will be absolutely amazing. Do stay connected on social media until we meet again. Remember that greatness is never given, it's always earned. Bye-bye.